Hey everybody, it's Liv. Welcome to Girl vs. Motorcycle. It has been a while, almost a year, and it's been a crazy year full of ups, downs, changes, and all that fun stuff, but I won't bore you with any of those details. The good thing is, in a year, you haven't missed anything. I haven't done anything to the bikes, so I haven't had a really reason to shoot a video. So if you missed me, I'm sorry. You can just hit me up on Instagram. I'll say hi. You know, what else are you going to do? So, all that being said, the last time I did my intro while riding the bike, I was on Duchess. We were going to change the oil. So, guess what we're going to do today with Gritty? Oil change. This will be the first time I am changing the oil on Gritty. Because new bike, when I bought the bike, I got a service contract. So, for the first 10,000 miles, all the service was done at the wonderful folks at Sin City Indian, taking good care of them. That contract expired. Also, actually, I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know if it expired yet or not. But if it didn't, it's good to save it for the big stuff, if I have any services left on it. I'm going to have to look that up. So, yes, I'll be changing my own oil today on Gritty. Points of note. Starting in 2019, the crankcase on these Thunderstroke engines went up from 5.5 quarts of oil to 6 quarts of oil. So there's that. But also, my lovely, lovely service manager, Drew, when I went to go pick up my oil today, told me that, probably only put 5.5 quarts in. I'm like, all right, whatever you say. And he gave me the tips and tricks and technique to not lose your oil everywhere because you pour too much in. I've seen that in a lot of the forums. The guys going, I thought it was 6 quarts and I got oil everywhere and all that stuff. So there is a system to it. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Let me think. Anything else? Oh, and for Gritty, for this time, Gritty is now on 15W20 synthetic oil because he got his big bore upgrade last summer. So that takes a different grade of oil. Got my kit this morning from the dealership, make my life easy. So I got my new oil filter, some washers, and 6 quarts of oil to cover me for everything. Also, the bike does have to be upright for the oil change. Just like Duchess does. Also should be upright for checking the oil. Drew actually did confirm me today that it is a pain in the ass to check the oil on the Chieftains or the Thunderstrokes. It's not a rumor. Even those guys think so. Because you do it. You do all of it. You run the bike. You get home. You go to check it, and the dipstick shows nothing. But there's no oil on the floor, and the bike runs fine. I don't know. I don't think it helps that the dipstick is black either. Come on, Polaris. And for all I know, this is a 19. For all I know, they've since changed the dipstick color to like a white or a gray or something you can read oil on. I don't know. It don't matter. All right. So hello, officer. What we're gonna do is get Gritty home, let him the exhaust and the crankcase cool to the touch, so we can actually touch it and get draining oil and get to change it. Shouldn't be that hard. Seems straightforward. Seems on point. It's actually going to be a little bit easier than Duchess 2 because the filter isn't in a stupid place. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that this bike is a little bit higher off the ground than Duchess, But, again, should be easy. Famous last words. So, I'm going to take Gritty on home now, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Sweet. Bye. Okay, so as we're waiting for Gritty to cool down, let's go over the tools you will need. Most importantly, your oil change kit from Indian. Indian does recommend using their kit. This is the first time I'm changing it. I'm just using it. May change to AMSOIL in the future because that's what I use on Duchess. But for now, who cares, right? Oil's oil. But if any of you are in the Indian Motorcycle Owners Group that's on Facebook. Just ask what kind of oil you use. People lose their minds. It's kind of funny. I think it's a preference, but that's besides me. Anywho, moving on. So oil filter from Indian replacement oil filter 2521421, and drew through them in here. I'm sure they come in a nicer package. But your two crush washers for your drain plugs. I will actually, the part number is on my receipt, so when I find it, I'll pull that up for you and put it here. So we got those, and then 6 quarts, as mentioned, for full synthetic 15W60 for your Thunderstroke 111 with a stage 3 big bore 116 kit. On the intro, I'm pretty sure I said 15W20. My bad. 15W60. That probably makes more sense. 6 quarts of that. Cover your butt. Of course, drain pan. It's important. You gotta catch your old oil in something and put it in something else so you can properly dispose of it, because we care about the environment. 6mm hex for your drain plugs. And don't forget your old trusty torque wrench, so when you reinstall them, you put them in correctly and not over tighten or under tighten. There you go. And as always, simple green or simple yellowish green when you can't find simple green concentrate anywhere, and Lowe's only had the lemon scented version. Simply yellowish green. And shop rags for any of your Earl messes. I have, if you look behind me, there's couple pieces of cardboard under gritty too, because after a few years of doing stuff, things all of a sudden occur to you like, hey, I have some scraps of cardboard. Why don't I throw that under the bike so I have less oil to clean? Genius. Mm-hmm. Again, should be pretty simple. It took me long enough to get my camera set up and put all this in. So actually, I think Gritty is ready to vomit some oil. So let's get going. Okie dokie. So your 2 drain plugs are right here. And I can't remember why there's 2. And I don't think it's important. Anyway. So what you want to do is, very carefully, you want to get them kind of loose, a little loose, because you're not going to be able to get your tool in here and your drain pan. So just make sure you have this on lefty loosey. No, I don't. See? Step 1. I told you I haven't done anything on the bike for a while. I forgot how to use tools. I am right up on this mic, so excuse me. Okay. There you go. That's loose. Oh, it's already seeping a little bit. This. And then, while I'm down here doing this, the other thing that Drew reminded me, he goes, make sure you get those washers off, because sometimes they stick to the pan. So make sure you get the old ones off too. There we go. All right. Now, let's get this. Let's see what we can do here. Get our oil pan under here. And let me see if I can. If I can, I can. If I can't, I can't. Let me see how, if they're loose enough, what I'm probably going to do, my little, take the little hex key off the socket. And be careful, like I can feel like it's still kind of warm down here. So if I scream and the video stops, you know what happened. Haha. Also, yes, a lot of people normally wear latex gloves, and you know what? Because usually I like working on the bike without gloves, and latex gloves have been driving me crazy lately, but because it's oil, I'll be back wearing a glove. Okay, I got gloves, and I took off my watch because I do not feel like nor have the funds to be replacing my Apple Watch. Also, it's a Series 3 38mm, and they don't make that anymore. If anybody works for Apple, ask them why they don't make that size anymore. I have tiny wrists, Big mouth, tiny wrist. All right. Back to this. I don't know if it happened when I did Duchess. But I know I have changed oil before and had the whole bolt and washer end up in in the oil pan and then had to fish them out. That has happened. I think it's okay. As long as you know they're in there. Right? It is a little, oh, there's one. Oh, where'd it go? Yep, it's in there. And yes, this oil is hot. Like I said. I'll put this right on the cardboard. Number 2. Oh, Jesus. My tool. See, Simple Green will be cleaning my tools later, since I won't be cleaning my floor. Hey, I caught that one. Woo! Ooh, jeez, hot, 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 hot. Little trick also, I learned, I think I did that with the Duchess video too. Usually if you remove the dipstick, it lets more air in, and in science, be it physics and stuff, because there's air behind it, will let pressure go down and let the oil drain. So we're going to let that drain for a little bit, and then we'll come back and remove the filter. So, what can you do while you're waiting for that slow, sludgy oil to drain? Well, if you look in your service manual, or it might even be in your owner's manual, every service interval, there's different things that mechanics dealership will do check on the bike. And there's a lot of things you can check yourself. Most of them is just inspection. You know, like checking the level of your brake fluid. That dot, it should be touching that dot, so this being this low, that's not bad. I think that's good. Also, yeah, check for the play. Feels good. All right, don't forget the rear brake. It's amazing. I can barely see it, so it's pretty good. That's full. So, rear brake, good. Yeah, that's my thumb. What else can we check? Can check the brake pads. Looking good. Yeah, so when you check the brake pads, you have 2 in the front, 1 in the rear. It's probably a pain in the butt, so I'm not even going to attempt to do that with a camera while recording, but I will check my rear brake pads, I promise. But yeah, check your clutch cable, check your clutch lever. This is all like itemized stuff that's in there that they would check. There's other things in there that you probably don't have the tools to do in your garage. But one of the other things it says is also check your air filter. And I'm like, oh. Now, the bike is at about 16,000, and it says it's at 15,000 mile service. Change your air filter. Now, at 11,000, I got the BBK upgrade, so that I got a new air filter, so I don't really need it. But it is good to look at it and check it. So we can do that while we're waiting to change our oil. All right. These screws here are 4mm. Do that. I forgot that sometimes there's oil in the air filter. And now I got oil drinking on my ears. Okay. Now I know I've seen that before and I know it's normal, and I feel dumb because I kind of went into this not knowing why. So there is a possibility between filming and editing, I might take the chance to figure this out and then add a little sidebar to this. I look for hex sizes so you don't have to. Really hate it when mechanics don't use torque specs. Not a fan. Ding. So air filter. Now, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it looks great. So what I am gonna do? Oh, look! It's got all kinds of air. Ooh, it's got racks in it. rocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my air compressor and just blow out the dust and the rocks and all that stuff. Put it back in because I do not have a new air filter. What I'm going to do, because Duchess has a K&N air filter and those are reusable. There's like cleaning solutions, you actually do clean them. There's an K&N air filter recharge kit, whatever you use to clean them, all stuff. But then you're not paying for air filters all the time. But I am going to blow this out. I'm going to wipe this down and put this back. Urgh. Okay, so I blew out some of the rocks and stuff out of there. But what I did remember I was doing that is for the K&M filter recharge kit, the one I've done for Duchess a few times. There's a way to clean it. I haven't done it for a while, so but there's a way to clean it, and then there's another solution or spray that you put on top of it, and I think that acts as an oil. So obviously that is part of it. It's not wrong that there's oil in here. So I just made sure I put some more just back around the rim, where it was a little dry, and there you go. I definitely didn't scrub it dry, so it should be fine. It's not like, and like I said, this is already used. So we'll throw that back on, throw the plate back on, and like I said, I'll possibly upgrade it, or if anybody else has upgraded their stage 3 air filter, let me know. See what I'm on it. I really actually knew the damn torque specs for these screws off the top of my head. I did. And it's inch pounds, so I have to go get my mini anyway. So I'm gonna go look at that. Get that started. Okay, the ones on the inside are 62 inch pounds. Inch pounds. Where's that fiber? And then these for the cover are 84 inch pounds. Now back to oil changing. Okay, next on the agenda, we have to remove the old oil filter. Like I said before, this one's pretty easy because it's not buried under the bike. That's only like an inch off the ground, like on Duchess. It's just right here. And, your simple lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, right? In theory. Well, let's see. I should be able to get around this. And I put the oil pan under it to get the filter. To get any drippy oil. Ugh. There it goes. There it goes. All right, there it goes. Ah, see? Smart me. Ha ha ha. I did something. Fezzik, you did something right. The oil under there. Do. Oh, I put a hole in my glove. That's probably why I don't normally wear gloves. Oh, Jesus. There you go. Now, stuff like your oil filter, I usually put it, I will dispose of it with the oil as well. I just put it in the same bag. Put all my old, look at that, fingerless gloves. Yeah, anyway, yes, I put the oil filter in with my oil trash, or put it with the containers of used oil that I take to I drop it off at AutoZone. They seem to just take them just fine. It's coolant that seems to be the thing that's hard to get rid of. Go figure. All right, so I'm gonna let that drain for a little bit, and we will install the new one in a second. Okay, so there's a good amount of oil dripping from the oil filter area. So as that's draining, I'm actually just gonna reinstall my my drain plugs. Here, you see, I got my new washers on them. Those are the old ones just sitting back there. You gotta keep things separate all the time. And down here. Alrighty. And these screws don't seem to be specific to any one hole, so I think it's either screw for either hole. Okay. Now we get our torque wrench out, and these screws are supposed to be set at 15 foot-pounds of torque. 15. Try not to give yourself a concussion. There's 1 and 2. There we go. 15 foot-pounds. Those are done. I believe in the service manual, those are referred to as storage and scavenger plugs. They're drain plugs. But yes, 15 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, good. Let's check on that oil filter drain. Okay, I think it's done dripping. I see a little bit of ooze. So I'm gonna grab a clean shop rag with nothing on it. Make sure like no simple green, none of that stuff on there. And just wipe around here. Get any extra drippings there. There, you got a clean surface to work with. Because now you're gonna put more oil on it anyway. All right. Okay, so now you're gonna grab your new oil filter and some new oil. And I have heard you could do this with old oil, but you got the newer stuff, so who cares? And take that. I don't have gloves anymore. I just don't want to run in the house and get more gloves. Alright, anyway. Find the, get some drops of oil on your finger. And you want to liberally lube that right around there. So what that does is create a better seal. Nice and greasy. Yeah. Okay. Got that on there. Okay, I'm gonna cap this back up before I knock it over and lose a quart of oil. There you go. Alrighty. Now, the deal with all oil filters is that it's always hand tight or tight and then back off a turn or whatever. The specific direction for the Indian one is, I want to say, tight and then 3/4 of a turn, or there's nothing about 3/4 of a turn. I do have like a tool, like a little socket thing for Harley oil filters, but it is too big for this one, so I always think like hand tight, but you know what? I've got the manual nearby. Let me check real quick. The book says approximately 3/4 of a turn after the filter seal has met the adapter or something like that. So 3/4 are after they touch, which, seems weird. Point is, just don't over tighten it. Don't over tighten it. Like I'm very much an advocate of, if you watched any of my other videos. Don't over tighten it. And then I realized the simple green, or excuse me, shop rag I had was covered in oil. No wonder I can tighten it. So let's just back this off for a second. So that's where they meet. I don't know what 3/4 of a turn is. See, a lot of times too, I'll do like, oh look, it's tight there, and then back it off a little bit. we'll see how that goes. If I get a leak or anything, I'll let you guys know that I had to tighten it. But it's definitely there. Okay, dokie. We put the new filter on and the new washers on the drain plugs and all this other fun stuff. So guess what? We're going to put the oil in and do this whole thing that Drew talked about. All right, let me move some stuff around and then we'll get that going. Okie dokie. So we're going to put oil in. So what we're going to do, see, black dipstick. Black dipstick. Seriously? Oil is black. Or at least dark. Anyway, I'm moving on. So what we're going to do is get your nice funnel. Put that in there. So the the recommendation is you start with 4 quarts. So we're going to put 4 quarts in and then run the bike for 3 minutes. The manual actually says at about 2,500 RPM. It might be where I idle. Maybe not. We'll find out. Well, we'll do it over there. So let's get our oil. Well, hopefully this is one I opened already. Yes. Remember, slow pour. Don't rush because then that's how stuff drips out. And I don't know if I showed you. I think I did. Showed you last time a little sideways trick with this. But nice and slow. Oh, look at that. All right, 4's in. Avoid drippiness. Gonna close that back up. All right, let me double check the manual real quick about that runtime. Okay, so I checked the service manual, and it is run at varied speeds to 2,500 RPM. So, and remember to put your bike in neutral, because you're still on the stand and wants it upright. Okay, here you go. For 3 minutes. I forgot the 3 minutes part. Okay, so we ran it for 3 minutes, you know, varying speed up to 2,500 RPM. Cracked open the garage door and my other door, so just to circulate air. So now, actually, the manual says to add a quart because it says start with 4.5 and then add 1. So the manual I have is still working with the 5.5 quart series. I can't remember the details. Can't remember if Drew this morning told me add 4 quarts, then 1.5, or 4.5 and then 1. Either way, be slow with it. So I'm gonna add the 1.5. I like the idea of 1.5 too, so I have extra just in case. So this is number 5. Hey! And slow, just in case. I'm gonna have to be diligent, pay attention to it so I get to half. Okay, number 6 or 5.5 or whatever. So close. Half. All right. Let's see how what this checks out to be. Then
black dipstick. I'm looking fine. Look for aftermarket ones. I did before, and I saw some cool ones. Somebody did one that looked. They did like the Indian coin on the top, which was really super cool. And they painted it, or they had colors of it, and it was like red, blue, and I think black. I was like, orange. Meh. Let's see what this says. If anything. I might not say anything. This is a complete possibility. Yep, says nothing. And I told you, it makes me really happy that, you know, service manager said the same thing about the dipstick. So, but by obviousness, I have 5.5 empty containers of oil. There's 5.5 quarts of oil in there. And just to check my my drain plugs. Nothing's leaking. Alright. Let's check this again. There's definitely oil on it. And it definitely stops at the add line. It's kind of silly. Alright. So, what we're going to do here is roll with it. We know there's 5.5 quarts in here. The manual says the bike can run with 4.5 quarts in it. So I'm thinking if the service manual is running off the old crankcase that's 5.5 quarts, it says you can run off 5.5 quarts, then I'm pretty sure that with a 6 quart I can run it off 5, and it's got 5.5. Math! Yeah, that's it. Change the oil. Just like the last time. I will use the old empty oil containers, jugs, bottles, liter bottles, fill those up with the old oil, set them aside and drop them off at AutoZone for recycling. Very good. Then other than that, we're good. If for some reason I turn around later and I A, had to tighten the oil filter more, or B, had to have more oil, I'll definitely let you know. I'll update the description below. And yeah, that's all I got. It's been a while. I don't know when I'll be back. Work and school and life and things, but Grady's got fresh oil, and that's all that's important. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Stay safe out there. Stay safe out there. Shiny side up. Bye.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day.